Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your interpretation for having a Libra moon. So this is if you were born with your natal moon sign in Libra. And this is not the same as if you are a Libra sun sign. This is going to be different. So if you are unfamiliar with your moon sign, then feel free to contact me for a birth chart reading, or feel free to look up your placements. So this is going to be focused on your moon sign, which is going to be different from your sun sign. And if you'd want to know more about that, go ahead and check out my previous videos on the sun and moon and what they mean in astrology. So with the moon sign, we're dealing with the feminine side of the personality. We're dealing with the feeling side of the personality. So this is taking a look at your reactions, your responses. This is taking a look at your unconscious needs and desires from an emotional point. So this is the moon sign, which is very much connected to the mother. It's connected to the home life. And so the moon shows a great deal of how you were raised and brought up. And looking at this Libra moon, this should be fairly easy for me to break down, as this is also my placement. And to understand the Libra moon, you want to understand what the sign of Libra is like. And so Libra is this cardinal air sign that is ruled by Venus. So we're looking at this very airy energy. So this is a thinker sign. This is very much on the surface, is very much connected to communication. And this is initiating the thoughts. So this is showing up, starting, creating, initiating in your thoughts and communication. And this is dealing a great deal with relationships, right? Libra is all about connection. And so even though Libra is an air sign, we're dealing with this Venus energy when we're talking about Libra, where there is this emotional component to it as well, where this is about connection. This is about relating to others. This is about looking at a situation from the perspective of others. And so this is very much about relationships. It is about marriage. It is about balance, fairness, negotiation, teamwork. And so those of you with a Libra moon are going to have a very balanced and fair approach when it comes to connecting to others. Because again, remember that we're dealing with this feminine side of the personality, where this is about emotional connection. This is about receptiveness. This is about understanding. This is about nurturing and caring for yourself as well as others. And so with this Libra moon, this is going to give you a balanced and fair approach when it comes to connecting with others. And with the moon in Libra, this really creates an emotional need for this sense of balance and fairness in life. And so there tends to be this very fair and pleasing approach to relationships with the moon and Libra. And this can be a little bit problematic, because this can create a situation where you are giving more of yourself to others than what you need in return. There's a big focus with the Libra moon that is on other people and their needs, and how you're going to show up to please and care for others with a Libra moon. And so one of the big themes here with the Libra moon is understanding how to find that balance within yourself, where you are loving yourself and others equally. And so even though with Libra we're dealing with balance, because this is your emotional needs, your unconscious needs and desires, this is a placement where you have to find that balance. So there's a lot of weighing the scales back and forth to understand how to balance your own emotional state. And so there is a lot of ups and downs in terms of mood when it comes to the Libra moon. So the scales can really tip one way or the other when it comes to your mood, when it comes to your emotional disposition. There can be a lot of this feeling of feeling one way and then feeling the other way. And so there does tend to be this indecisiveness in terms of your reactions, your responses. There's a lot of trying to understand both sides. And so there can be a lot of disagreement, but then coming back to a place of negotiation and agreement. There can be a lot of understanding the side of the other individual, even if you are in disagreement. There's this need to understand the opposing side when we're talking about Libra. And so there is this emotional need for balance, for fairness, that creates a little bit of this indecisiveness, a little bit of this tipping and weighing of the scales back and forth. And so there is this great need with this position to find this sense of balance within yourself. With a Libra moon, with Libra, we're also talking about these Venusian qualities of beauty, of fashion, of really just this love of aesthetics. And so a lot of times with a Libra moon, we're going to see an individual who has a sense of style, who wants beauty to be all around them. And so there is this very good eye for beauty that comes with a Libra moon as well. And these individuals can even be very artistic. They can be very talented with a Libra moon. With the Libra moon, it also can create, even though we're talking about the moon sign, which is more internal, this is more of a superficial sign that we're dealing with Libra. And so this can create this sense of beauty and attractiveness within the personality of the individual with a Libra moon. So this can draw people towards you for this sense of this beauty, this peace, this fairness that you are giving off to others. So even though this is the moon that is internal, because we're dealing with this sign that is dealing with others, that is dealing with relationships, there is this sort of magnetic field that does draw others in with a Libra moon. And keep in mind that we are just talking about this one placement in isolation. So we're just talking about having a Libra moon in general. We're not considering what house this is in and how it's being aspected by other planets. And so it's important to understand that not everything about this placement is going to apply exactly to you. You have to understand how it fits into your birth chart. And if you'd like some understanding on how this placement works for you, feel free to reach out to me for a natal chart report. But this is a very pleasant moon to have. It's also a very challenging one because it does create this desire to create peace and fairness and harmony, to treat others with fairness. And there does tend to be a desire to treat others with this generosity and kindness, even when it isn't deserved. So there is this extreme desire for fairness and balance that is happening here with this Libra moon. And typically this is coming from a mother or a childhood where there was a lot of emphasis on being fair, treating others with kindness, having social decency, showing up with common etiquette in all social situations. And so this is really where a lot of this unconscious behavior of being fair, being balanced, being considerate of others is really coming from the way that you were raised in your childhood. So there's a lot of wanting to create compromise and fairness on this emotional level. Also, with the Libra moon, there is a lot of overthinking, a lot of, and again, it comes back to that weighing and tipping of the scales where we have this indecisiveness, where there can be a lot of overthinking. There can be a lot of going back over decisions that you've made in your mind, right? Because the moon is also the mind, right? A lot of times when we talk about the moon, we tend to focus a lot on the emotions. And when we're dealing with the moon, this is really the mind. So this is talking about not only your feelings, but also your thoughts. And it is not coming from a practical, logical place. This is coming from an instinctual place. Remember that the moon is unconscious. So a lot of this is your immediate thought and reaction that comes initially to you. And so this is still dealing with the way that you think as well. And so there does tend to be a lot of indecisiveness with this placement, a lot of rethinking over decisions. And so one of the big things with this placement is understanding how to let yourself just sit in your emotions, observe the feeling before making a choice or decision. A lot of times when those of you with Libra moons, and again, remember that this has to do with the house that it's in, it has to do with how it's aspected. There's a lot of factors that are playing into this, how it actually shows up in your chart. But typically with a Libra moon, when you are just jumping into making decisions, there does tend to be this desire to go back to review things, to tip the scales back to see both sides of the situation. And so with a Libra moon, it is important that you are looking at all of your options, that you're taking your time to allow yourself to observe and sit in your emotions before making a decision, allowing those emotional waves and tides to move before coming up with your immediate decision. Also, with a Libra moon, there tends to be a strong desire for companionship, for relationship, for partnerships, for friends. Why? Because Libra is connected to marriage. It is connected to relating and understanding of others. And so there is this unconscious desire to merge with another on an individual level. And so this can show up in a desire for friendship, a desire for a romantic partner, a desire for a business partner. But typically with a Libra moon, there is this emotional desire for this companionship, for this teamwork. And a lot of times we even see this desire for a pet, right? Pets are falling under this companionship. And so this is an interesting moon to have. This does create this very good-natured quality about the individual. Because remember that Venus is one of our benefic planets. So Venus is very much about what is good, what is abundant, what brings us joy, right? Venus is all about what we are attracted to, what brings us pleasure. And so there is a lot of this desire to be good-natured, to see a situation from both sides, to be balanced, to take a fair approach, to treat others with kindness. And so these are qualities that have this positive side and this negative side that you really want to look at if you have a Libra moon. There is this negative side to this where you can very much be overly pleasing to others. You can give too much of yourself to others. And there can be this indecisiveness, again, of going back and forth with the scales. But overall, this is going to be a great placement for relationships, for emotional intelligence, You are going to have a good personal understanding of how to relate to others, how to show up in social situations. But again, being cautious that you are not playing this overly pleasing role or showing up in this overly superficial way to please others. So, very important with this placement that you are taking care of your own needs and desires, and that you are not putting everyone else before you. And that is my analysis of having a Libra moon. If you had anything else that you wanted to add to this placement or any questions about this placement, feel free to leave it down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And I want to thank you all once again so much for joining. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.